let's head over to Colin Cowherd. Colin, what's on the show today?
Oh, this happens all the time. We freak out, we overreact, but the market adjusts. That happened to college basketball again this year, and it was capped last night. That's coming up.
Thanks, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day. The Cavs and Raptors face off tonight in their final matchup of the regular season. Toronto has a 2-game lead for the top seed in the East, and they're looking for revenge against the Cavs after blowing a 15-point lead 2 weeks ago. So, Shannon, how important is this game to the baby dinosaurs?
Well, right now, Kevin Love missed shoot-around, Skip. Again, George Hill is out. Ty Lue showed up, but he won't be coaching.
Kevin Love going to play tonight?
No, we don't know.
You know.
Yeah, I don't. He missed shoot-around, so he might be out again.
Okay, he's going to play.
But LeBron going to do what he does.
Yeah.
So, I know Toronto has played well this whole year. They've been the #1 seed for about the last 2 months. They would hate to give that up. They're only 2 games in front now. They do play the Celtics tomorrow night. So this is going to be a very important game, and they don't want to give the Cavaliers any more confidence. Seeds don't matter to Bron. George, we've already discussed that, right? Bottle of water, mustard seed, pumpkin seeds, sunflower, great, doesn't matter. Bottle of water and some dirt, watch you make it grow. Eastern Conference Finals, here we come, regardless of our seed.
Regardless? You realize Toronto is a 1-point favorite at Cleveland tonight? How could that be? So the odds makers have no respect for the best player on the planet?
7 games. They're 7 games clear of us, and they only favor by 1.
Only favored by 1 in the Kings' house?
Only.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
This is a huge game for the baby dinosaurs, because I think when they step on the floor, they just shrink at the sight of LeBron James.
The baby dinosaur. That's a T-Rex. That's a T-Rex.
Yeah, but they're little baby T-Rex.
No, not that 2-3.
And you know what? T-Rexes have no wingspan at all, right?
Oh, but ain't nothing wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Nothing's.
I say LeBron wins this by 15.
No. We don't want to keep it close.
No.
We want to keep it close.
Devastate them.
Because
annihilate them.
I want Bron to make it come from behind, because if he beat him by 15, you go like, see, there it goes again.
He'll win by 15. This is a cakewalk.
Triple dub, though.
Here we go.
Triple dub.
That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin Cowherd tells you what Jay Wright proved last night. The Herd starts now.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Christine Leahy is joining me on a Tuesday. Peter Schrager stops by today. Corey Maggette, Rob Ryan, Doug Gottlieb. We have a new national champ in college basketball, and it's a champ from a couple of years ago with a bunch of familiar guys. I said yesterday I was close to calling an upset, but I couldn't call an upset. And I'm glad I don't bet college basketball, because I would have lost a lot of money last night.
There were a lot of people that said they're not listening to your gambling advice anymore, at least when it comes to college hoops.
Well, let's start with this. And this is the way the world works. Fear, for guys like me, talk show hosts, Fox News, MSNBC, conservative radio, liberal radio, fear sells. Fear is commerce. Run for your lives. The meteor's coming. Y2K, bird flu. It sells. My ratings swell. But in the end, the market always adjusts, and you don't really have much to be afraid of. Remember Carmageddon? Anybody watching this morning in Los Angeles? A couple of years ago, they were having construction on the 405. Carmageddon, it was called. This is going to be an absolute disaster, said the mayor of Los Angeles. JetBlue offered $4 flights from Burbank to Los Angeles. It will be an absolute disaster on the freeways. And what happened? You, the consumer, adjusted. The freeways have never, ever been clearer than they were during Carmageddon. There was no disaster. I remember as a kid growing up, speed limits were going from 50 to 65 miles an hour. Everybody's going to die. Oh, my God, car deaths will skyrocket. And then the market adjusted, and manufacturers were like, oh, wow, we better build safer cars. And they did. And car deaths went down. Y2K, bird flu. In sports, the one and done was going to take over college basketball. Oh, my God, Kentucky, Calipari. The one and done era in college basketball lasted about 3 years. Kentucky won in 2012. 2 years later, they were a runner-up. Duke won in 2015. Since then, nada, zip, nothing. Last 6 teams to play in the championship are not one and done programs. The number one program in the country now is Jay Wright and Villanova. It's the anti-one and done. For years and years and years, Villanova's been teaching the same thing. And certain things don't go out of style, like coachable players, hard work, and experience. The one and done basically said experience doesn't matter. Really, Christine and I are broadcasters. Telling me experience doesn't matter? It never goes out of style. It doesn't go out of style in medicine, law. Most of your top fashion designers aren't 18. They're probably 48, 38, 28, but they're experienced. For a couple of years, everybody was telling me in basketball, experience doesn't matter. Even though for years I watched the NBA and it was all the veteran teams that won. Freshmen, 18-year-olds. It's back in style. By the way, Kentucky's had 32 guys make the NCAA or the NBA from Kentucky to the NBA, 32. Phoenix has a bunch of them. Worst team in the league. New Orleans has a bunch of them. Can't win a playoff game. Kentucky hasn't been to a Final Four in 3 years. Duke next year, all one-and-doners. How's Duke doing? Last couple of years, Gonzaga is winning more games in the tournament. You want to know who's winning in college basketball now? Gonzaga, Xavier, Villanova, Carolina. It's not that they don't have an NBA player or two, but they're the anti-one-and-done. The market always adjusts. We get afraid of things in sports. Oh, my gosh, one and done. It's not dead. You still need a really good coach to win, and you still need an NBA player or two to win. Villanova has that. But we do this constantly. Fear in America is commerce. We're all in danger. Here come the asteroids, Y2K, bird flu, one and done, speed limit, Carmageddon. And the TV ratings go up, and the radio ratings go up, and the newspapers sell, and the blogs explode. Look, fireworks, wow. The same thing for breakfast this morning. I had oatmeal. I've been eating it for 30 years. Villanova won last night due to good coaching, teamwork, and experience, which 5 years ago I was told didn't matter anymore. It always has, and it always will. Congrats to the best team in college basketball and currently the best program in college basketball, which didn't sell its soul, which didn't buy the hype, which went against asteroids, Y2K, gotta change, you'll get left behind, we're all in danger. Villanova said, nah, we're going to recruit kids who love college basketball and aren't just looking at us like an airport getting on the next flight to the pros. We're going to get kids who are coachable, who work their ass off at practice, play even harder in games. Experience, coaching, smart, passing won. College basketball won last night. All right, let's shift gears. Boy, this story is just imploded. I've always tried to say this on my show. The thing I try to be loyal to isn't even advertisers, isn't even fans, isn't even bosses. What I try to be loyal to is honesty. Because no matter where I go, that's the one thing I know that will go with me. Some advertisers may leave, a network may hate me, a boss may want to fire me, but I can take honesty anywhere. Jim Mora is a football coach. He was honest this week. Oh, boy, did he get pushback. Jim Mora coached Josh Rosen. He knows him better than anybody. And when somebody asked him about Josh Rosen and USC quarterback Sam Darnold, Jim Mora gave an honest and authentic answer. Here it was.
Because of fit, I would take Sam Darnold if I were the Cleveland Browns. You know, I think that that blue-collar, gritty attitude, I think his teammates will love him. I think the city will love him. He'll say the right things. He'll come in and he'll represent well. I think he kind of represents what Cleveland is. And then if I was one of the New York teams, I'd take Josh like that. I think they're both going to be great pros.
Nothing he said was inaccurate. Nothing he said was anything other than fact-based. He was asked to be an analyst, and he was actually being great as an analyst, authentic, honest, and not sucking up to a player. In fact, I could argue he was a better TV analyst in that spot than he was a football coach at UCLA the last year. Oh, but here came the mob. You know what the mob does in the media. They attack and they pile on, forcing people like Jim Moore to backpedal, retract, apologize, be inauthentic. So now here's Jim Moore on Josh Rosen.
I have been very clear, very consistent, and I believe very complimentary towards Josh Rosen. I don't think I've made a statement in the negative about him. This is a tremendous young man who is a great player. He is dedicated to the game. I've tried to be very clear about how I feel. It's interesting that a statement that one player may be a better fit for a team than another can be construed as negative. You know, I love this young man. I think he's going to be a great player. You know what? Do I think he's the best quarterback in the draft? No. I think he's the best player in the draft. How about that? Does that mean I think he's a fit for every team? No. You know, I think that being schooled by a Pat Shurmur, great fit for a guy that's as smart as Josh Rosen. To be in a room with Jeremy Bates, great fit for a guy like Josh Rosen. I think he'll excel.
So he has to kind of retract, rearrange the furniture, make sure it lands perfectly, and this is what we want in the media? Inauthentic, backpedaling, apologizing. Do we have no self-control in the media? Nobody knows Josh Rosen like Jim Mora. And by the way, if Josh Rosen is bothered by these comments, don't draft him. NFL's for tough guys. Don't coddle him. Don't enable him. Don't baby him. If he's bothered by this, he's not the right fit. But what everybody is missing on this is Jim Moore is actually doing Josh Rosen a favor. I'm going to show you the top 10 teams drafting. So you tell me, NFL quarterbacks have always made their money on their second and third contracts. Translation, the better coaches and players you're surrounded by, the more games you win on your first contract. Do you notice something about the first 4 or 5 teams drafting? Browns, Jets, Browns. And then something happens about the 5th pick. Denver, they got good players. Tampa Bay, they have a good roster. Bears, good players. San Francisco, growing fast. Raiders, got a handful of stars. You notice this about the draft, that the further you drop, the better roster you land on. And quarterbacks out of college have always made their big money on their second and third contracts. You know where you don't make money in the NFL? Your first contract going third to the Jets. You get the you-know-what beat out of you. The New York media crushes you. You can't beat Brady, and you get canned, and now you're a backup in year 5. But if Josh Rosen could end up on a Denver, if Josh Rosen could end up on an Arizona, yeah, he wouldn't make as much money in his first contract, but he'd end up with better organizations surrounded by better players. What do we want in the media? Retracting, inauthentic, lack of honesty, people not being forthcoming? Or do what we want is Jim Mora, who didn't tell you exactly what you wanted to hear? But in the end, I'd argue, if I was Josh Rosen, who, by the way, comes from money, it's not like the kid's eating top ramen to survive, okay? Money's not the key to Josh Rosen's next 5 years. Josh Rosen's key is landing in a non-chaotic organization. And the further down you're drafted, the less chance of that happening. Would Aaron Rodgers really be happier as a Jet or a Brown? Or did Aaron Rodgers actually luck out going to the Packers? Favre, McCarthy, Ted Thompson, that fan base. Jim Mora, tip of the cap. You didn't say what 99% of coaches would have said. Rosen's the greatest player of all time. Nah, he said he's good, but fit matters. I think he'd be a better fit at some of these teams that aren't drafting number 1. I'd have no problem whatsoever if I was a quarterback and my coach said that. Good to have you in. Something remarkable is going to happen this weekend. and it's going to start in a couple of days. And I don't think I can ever recall anything quite like it. That's coming up. Here we go again, another major data breach. This time it's Orbitz, the popular travel booking platform. They announced the breach, compromised 900,000 customers. Hackers assessed credit card numbers. Oh, boy. Date of birth, gender, phone, names, numbers, addresses. Hackers got all of it. There are so many threats in today's connected world. How about new LifeLock identity theft protection? Adds the power of Norton Security to help protect you against threats to your identity and gives you devices that can help you fix it. If you have a problem, they've got agents. Take the call and work to fix it. Nobody can stop every cyber threat. Nobody prevents all identity theft. But new LifeLock with Norton Security can uncover threats you might otherwise miss. Go to LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock and use the code HERD. That gets you an additional 10% off. LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock and use the promo code HERD.